Hello! Welcome to a special edition of the Office Hours. A special, Paul has been doing too many shows for other people. Edition of the Office Hours. Let's get to the office, shall we? Oh, I was going to do some gaming. I might still do it a little bit, but generally speaking, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so why not? We'll do a capsule reading of the monthly report. This is a show where I talk about Star Citizen lore, news, and more. Welcome on in. Things good. It looks good on this side. It's great. Red Marine, welcome. Did a special live stream only because I didn't stream on Friday because I was doing info runners. And I didn't stream on Sunday because I streamed long on Saturday and ended up in jail for doing the event. We raised a lot of money though. $1,700 for kids. Not bad. Welcome one and all. Yeah, everything's going great. Hey, Paul, you know that guy everyone hates that gets hired for a job before it gets publicly posted? Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm glad to hear that. Congratulations. I thought you were retired. I guess you still have very little you have very small children or young children, so you probably still need to work. I get that. That's congratulations. That's good. You'll be happy to know, chat, that Raytheon is reaching out to try to get me to work for them. I humbly accept whatever position you wish to give me, Raytheon. I will dutifully build weapons of mass destruction for the right price. Apparently you missed out on PvP at Onyx from some Seal Clubber. Ooh, I feel bad then. No, 3 kids in high school. I got started late. Yeah, that makes sense. For some reason, the stream isn't picking up the YouTube stuff, even though it's definitely on the YouTube. Anyway, so it's weird that it's not picking up YouTube. It should be. I'm gonna have a few drinks. How many asteroids can I dodge around yellow? We'll see. Guitar Kid. You gotta go pick a kid up. Okay. As a teacher in high school, I can tell you, good luck. I will say though, I've been teaching children in high school. I've been teaching your children's generation for quite some time, and they're all right. They're not bad. They're good kids. They're better than what I was when I was their age. I was a little shit when I was their age. By and large, they're much more kind to each other. They have more empathy. There's not a lot of bullying that I've ever seen. Not at least they're not doing it in the same ways that like we were doing it when we were younger. Very few fights. The fights have always been based off of like disrespect. It's usually like someone disrespects another person, or it's like a drama between like romantic drama of some kind. And it's usually very limited, like a small percentage. And my school's not exactly the safest school. It's fine. But welcome everybody. We're going to watch ISC because it came back. And I'm going to start off by saying I have a critique of ISC and I haven't even seen it yet. Which is, and I'm sure this is a matter of timing right now, but my critique will remain the same as I critiqued it when when Jared made the joke that apparently everyone thinks I'm awful for. Fuck off. Which is people paid for ISC to see inside the game. They didn't pay for ISC to see a patch trailer or to see a ship trailer. And I think if CIG, and this is, of course, to anybody who's working on the ISC stuff, this is not meant as an attack on ISC personnel or Jared himself. It's more that this is a suggestion if you want to calm down people who get mad at you, because I don't care. You're going to put stuff up, I'm going to watch it. That's cool. Whatever. But I know a lot of folks in the community are upset. And from what I've gathered, based off of my experience with the community, is that they want to see inside Star Citizen. They want to see stuff that is yet to come out, that is in the planning's works. And I understand that that takes time and effort, but this time in January is probably a good time to start planning those sorts of ideas out there. And generally speaking, I think you could probably siphon a couple of people off from works on long-term projects to get a little bit of a hint early on so that when the actual project comes out, you can show a little behind the scenes. It just requires a little bit more planning, time. Effectively, if you know something is going to come out in 6 months, or you have a plan on it coming out in 6 months, getting those people to sit down every so often for a couple of hours every few weeks to get a little update on it so that you can release that before the actual thing goes out live to PTU or Evocati would do well. You just have to have Jared record a bumper at the beginning and at the end, and you do pretty well. So it's a matter of collecting footage as time goes on, kind of like a documentary. Film everything, catch everything you can, and that would go a lot better, because if you saw it in ISC before it went to Evocati or when it went to Evocati, people would be more inclined to see what's going on, especially if it's an behind the scenes look at the stuff that's actually happened. That's all I'm saying. Like, these people do a lot of work and they're really talented at what they do. I think it's just a matter of planning and of trying to read the minds of players, which is difficult to do, especially when they don't want to talk. So. I'm building Legos.
Each year of Star Citizen.
All right, let's watch this. Also, we'll talk a little bit about crafting. Got to play a little bit of it. It's good. You are going to be pissed. I don't know who you are watching this, but you're probably going to be mad at it because, yeah, game's going to change a lot.
Citizen brings with it a new beginning.
I should probably turn this down and actually let you see it.
Each year of Star Citizen brings with it a new beginning, including new content, new opportunities, and oftentimes a few new ways of doing things. It's an essential element of Star Citizen's DNA, where we don't just build the game out in front of everyone, we continue to review, refine, and redirect our efforts, as well as the very manner in which we make our games along the way. In 2025, this saw the biggest change to our development strategy yet, where new content rose to the forefront while feature work was allowed the time necessary to cook behind the scenes, where dedicated strike teams were formed to deal with the biggest issues at hand, and the patch cadence changed from once every quarter to once every month. It was an exciting year, and now into 2026, we continue our yearly evolution as we head into the upcoming Alpha 4.6.
Can I say Jared's looking fucking amazing? He looks like he's lost a lot of weight. To the point where he's got a little bit of that skin left over. Good job, Jared. Good job.
Now, instead of a patch every month or every quarter, this year we'll introduce a new bi-monthly patch cadence, which is one every 2 months for those of you who appreciate homonyms.
Hey!
No.
I called it. I said 5 or 6 patches. Yeah.
That means that you're going to see big releases like 4.6, 4.7, 4.8 and the like in January, March, and May, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And between those patches, we're going to try a new initiative that'll still deliver smaller chunks of in-game content to keep things interesting, like the recent pricing surge on commodities from last week. And in the future, new mission contracts, new loot, and even new spaceships, and all without the need for a big, mega, full patch release. It's an exciting experiment, and one that we're eager to undertake as we continue our journey to 1.0 with a year of patches aiming to deliver more feature improvements like inventory rework, crafting, which, if everything works out, should be in tech preview soon or by the time this airs, instancing, Genesis planets, and more, alongside the content that we showed at CitizenCon Direct, like Rock Cracker, Tactical Strike Groups, and Municipal Works. So, with all that said, let's go ahead now and take a look at some of what Alpha 4.6 has in store for us, and not just with its intended release next week, but throughout this February and into March.
Hopefully it isn't health-related weight loss. As far as I understand, Jared's been trying to lose weight and get into better shape for the last couple of years. So it looks like he has done better over the years. It looks like it's just, we haven't seen him for a bit, so it's probably more of a, I haven't seen him in like 3 months, 2 months. So, you know, how much people can change in 2 months, especially if he's wearing black and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he looks good. European food will do that. It will. Non-American food can do that. But I do like this idea. The idea is good. From the sounds of things, this seems like what CIG is trying to do is sort of what a lot of other games as a service do, which is, rather than tie content to a patch specifically, they will release content between patches as need be. So if they have a new ship that's out and it's ready to go, they'll release it between patches. The concept, I think, what they're trying to do is they're trying to still have their cake and eat it too. Not release a patch every month, but release a patch and then maybe a ship, and then maybe a patch, and then maybe a ship, or maybe a ship, patch, the kind of thing. Where like they sort of drip it out so that they're doing sales every month, but they may not have a patch every month, so they can actually sleep a little bit. European lore mentioned. Well, so anyone who is familiar with this sort of thing is that Americans will often go abroad. And when they go abroad, there's probably multiple reasons, but it's normal for Americans to go abroad, eat more food abroad than they would at home, and lose weight, because there's a lot of junk in our food, which isn't good. But also, European food and just food in general outside of the United States is made with completely different substances. And so, as somebody who's lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight, I can tell you, based off of my own experience, sometimes if you just change your food habits up, you lose weight just because of that. So he was on Ozempic. He does look like he's been using Ozempic a little bit. That makes sense. Stress, yeah. American food is bad for everyone, indeed.
Up first, the local inhabitants of Levski are falling sick with a mysterious ailment called the People's Ailment.
You let that many fucking mushrooms grow in your fucking waterworks, and you're like, well, where did this come from? What the fuck are you talking about?
Seemingly caused by the new strain of mold growing in the faulty air filters of Geisen Incorporated. Symptoms include coughing, chest pain, and fatigue. This mold is super resistant and forcing the free and independent people of Levski to reach out to the UEE for help. Now it's up to contractors like you to race against the clock and save as many folks from fungal fatalities as possible. And, of course, pick up some rewards along the way, like this cool new medical themed armor set, med gun, ship paints, and more. And in feature work, the first iterations of cockpit light amplification are also rolling out for select spacecraft. It's an exciting step forward in addressing one of the oldest struggles pilots have when flying or driving around the dark side of our planets and moons. And like most new features in Star Citizen, this will continue to evolve, improve, and expand to additional vehicles in subsequent patches. And look at all the different colors. And speaking of the old,
all of those comments on my videos about why is it the 30th century and they fucking forgot how to do night vision, they're gonna age so fucking poorly. Fucking
oldest struggles, the Aurora, classic ship from RSI, heart of our original crowdfunding campaign, and most owned vehicle in the verse, is finally getting its gold standard pass in Alpha 4.6, bringing it to feature and function parity with today's latest and greatest for those pilots who enjoy flying a true Star Citizen classic. And alongside this, we're finally delivering many of those outstanding campaign paints to go with it, like the Pirate Paint, the Operation Pitchfork Paint, the South by Southwest 2015 paint, the Electro Hull paints, and more. For 4.6, these will be delivered exclusively to those OG backers who earned them by supporting the original campaign, but may become available in limited supply later this year if there's enough interest. I suspect.
To be fair, there's the CIG did need us to say that there's nearly a decade before they added it. No, they just didn't have they just didn't prioritize it. That's all the issues.
You can let us know on Spectrum.
Because like everyone, including myself, is like, yeah, guys, they're gonna do it eventually. It's just not the priority.
Reddit and social. And in additional content stuffs, those cool holographic skull helmets we came up with so long ago are finally being delivered to our development subscribers. I'm excited because I've been wanting to recreate that, that Skeletor meme on social with it since we first unveiled it. There should be memes here, unless we couldn't think of any.
Yes!
There's also offerings from everyone's favorite Banu. Look. It's the only Banu you know. Technically.
He's not that much of difference from other Banu. The thing is that we need more lovable Banu who will steal our kidneys after we love them.
Who has these nifty new armor and weapon variants available as well. And the debut of the upcoming RSI Hermes, which you'll see fully and learn more about next week.
Hermes!
But as we said at the top of the show, 4.6 doesn't stop when it releases next week. That's because about 2 weeks after that, we'll see the unlocking of new faction-based introductory and advanced mining and salvage missions to better guide new players through the two popular professions, as well as provide additional opportunities to existing players. There's our annual Coremore event that encourages folks to spend their lives in the verse with someone special. Our annual Coremore event that encourages folks to.
Why is there a word? Why is there the word lover tattooed right above your fucking crotch in this armor? I mean, it's gay as hell. I love it. But like, damn, CIG, we getting bold up in here.
Spend their lives in the verse with.
I want some booty shorts at this point.
Someone special, and it arrives with a host of goodies to acquire. Red Festival returns with its super cool red and gold paints.
Year of the Rat.
As well as new decal or not variants for those who prefer a cleaner look to your spacecraft paints. Another limited time change to vendors like the recent pricing surge, but this time discounting vehicles sold through in-game shops.
Who's that spaceship mine?
And finally, another new ship with a familiar silhouette makes its debut weeks later in the 4.6 era. So what's it called and what's it do?
It's a salvage version of the Arastra, or of the mole. Yeah, the mole. That's what it looks like immediately.
Well, I'm not going to tell you, because I'm not sure we're getting away with that whole, what's that spaceship month thing. So come back in a few weeks to find out. Ultimately,
let's see if Nintendo sues the fuck out of us.
4.6 is the start of a new season of Star Citizen content that will continue to expand the story and gameplay of Nyx, the features and capabilities of the universe itself, and the continuing development of the project as a whole. And as far as shows like this are concerned, well, I'm happy to report that we're going back to weekly from now on. So whether that's ISC, SEL, BTS, or whatever a particular episode is called, we'll be back with something to share each and every week that we can. I've missed you. And one of you sent me a giant wooden hammer, which kind of feels like a threat. But I'm going to try my best. See you next week.
Not too bad. That was a little better, only because it was sort of illustrating, sort of talking about what their plan was this year. That's a little bit of informative. That's not bad. The idea that they're doing bi-weekly patches makes sense, or bi-monthly patches, and that they're going to be doing more weekly shows. That all works. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Nintendo is busy trying to chase down the developers of what was it, Pal World, because Pal World is absolutely styling on them right now. Yep, they lost that world against that lawsuit against Pal World, and Pal World has since then made Pal World the trading card game, Pal World farming game, and they're in talks of doing a Pal World anime. Like, Pal World is basically like, oh, you lost to us? All right, now we're going to rip off of everything you do because you can't copyright anime or card games or farming games. Did anyone test if the Clipper crafting station works? No, it does not. Last when I tried it, it didn't work. It is just the stations themselves. It was a tech preview. It did not work great, but it worked well enough. And we're talking significant improvements. Let me talk to you a little bit about crafting and how all of you will hate it. Do you think the fabricator will fit a shiv? No, I think it's a little bigger. Too big for a shiv. But let me put it this way. If you want to play the game in any sort of way that is going to involve being competitive enough so you don't just get face punched by another player, you are going to have to participate in the crafting ring. It is not an option, it is a requirement. Copyright sounds for creative works. Game systems and mechanics fall under patent law, which is much stricter and not automatic like copyright. Did they do? Was it a trademark? I didn't think it was a trademark. How are the recipes? Are they realistic? Hell, absolutely not realistic. They are simple as shit. Like, you're not going to have to like source everything you would have to source to build an actual rifle. It's like aluminum or steel plus like a few things here and there, but you are going to have a significant advantage if you go out and find higher quality items so you can use to produce the weapons and ammo you need to. Hate it is why I'm here. So if you are a PvPer who does not like to do mining or mining and you have no interest in crafting, find someone who does. Because you will get face punched in by a less skilled player with better gear. It's going to happen. The way this system currently works, you have to participate in it if you want to keep up with the Joneses. It is not pure skill based. It's not really always been pure skill based, but especially now, absolutely not. CIG will eventually cave to player trading, dominating NPC. That's not even I don't think that was ever going to be a question that player trading was going to be improving NPC. It's just there's not going to be a player trading environment like there is in Eve. It'll be based off of crafting rather than basing off of any UEC stuff. I fully expect for players to invent their own currency at some point. They kind of already have when it comes to UEX. There are some people who are using certain items, I forgot what it was, as currency, but that'll eventually happen as well. Pure Karenite. Basically, if you are any sort of combat player and you do not have friends who are building things or mining things or are mining things or building things with like connections with miners, you will lose. This is a warning to all of those people out there. If you are a sweat lord, you best start getting friendly with space dads. You best start making peace with bobs, because unless you're willing to grind heavy hardcore on mining and on crafting, you're gonna lose. A Japanese patent office recently rejected Nintendo's Pal World related application. They rejected it. I heard they lost an app. They had lost it in court. They just straight up reject it. That's good, by the way, because I think they tried it in America and they did get it in America. I don't remember if they did or not. They may have not. I remember them applying for it. You could just dismantle stuff and get mats. Yes, you can dismantle stuff and get mats, but you have to get stuff that is high quality in the first place to dismantle to get the mats to use them in the first place. Is it still under review in the US? They'll need to strike a delicate balance with that. Otherwise, brand new players will be at extreme disadvantage for the established players. They're not going to. Based off of what I've seen, no. New players are just fucked. Basically, if you're a new player, do not leave the new player zones, because you're going to get fucking punched to death by people with better gear. I don't see how they balance it either. Like, eventually everyone will get it. So new players will always be at a disadvantage. I think the solution they're going to do is, for a lot of new players, if you do the tutorial or do the intro missions, it sounds like they're going to be doing like a 2-hour intro mission anyways. So you'll be in your like own instance for like 2 to 3 hours while you're learning things, which will probably include letting you craft your first ship. So, hey Viper, how you doing? I'm interested in seeing if different locations will sell different qualities of ore. I don't think you'll be able to get qualities of ore outside of mining it. You might be able to, but I think the highest quality of ore you're going to have to mine yourself. And it'll be, I know where it's going to be. It's going to be Nyx. It's going to be Nyx and Pyro will be where you get the high quality ore. Yeah, NPC security will hopefully work at that point, but the reality is that the way CIG is building this system, it's not hard to figure out. It's very simple. It is not a very complex system in terms of crafting. If you've played a survival game, you've played this crafting system. It's not that hard. I heard you might be able to buy lower quality ores. You should be able to buy lower quality ores. I don't remember if we purchased low quality ores. I remember just going out and mining and getting some of the higher stuff, but yeah, it's Star Wars Galaxies. It's clear they're taking heavy inspiration from Galaxies and using all the stuff they can find with that, minus the Jedi shit. This is only initial implementation of it. I imagine the end game of crafting is going to be intense and very much required for most Corps alliances. Yes, no, 100%. Like, even the simple version we got in the testing right now, or when it was live, was clear that you had a clear advantage. Like, the guns you can create are better. Just straight better. Not like 1% better. Like, you can tell they are better. Nintendo can afford to lose an occasional lawsuit. Nintendo can afford to lose a lot more than a lawsuit. Considering they've had, like, what? 2 generations of the best console seller for, like back-to-back? Well, almost back-to-back. Like, I think the Wii won its generation, and then the, was it the Wii U? The follow-up didn't do so well. But then the Switch fucking blew the fucking, like, Xbox and PlayStation just could not keep up with the Switch. Maybe stats are skewed for testing, so it's easier to see the difference. In my experience with CIG, they do not do that. They rarely do that. These are going to be significantly better. It's just not balancing. Yeah. No. Just be prepared. First version of crafting, find somebody who is really, really into mining. If you don't have someone who's into mining, go find somebody or become really into mining. Effectively, what crafting is going to do is it's going to do the thing that everything before a solo player has screeched that is going to kill the game. Crafting will kill you if you're a solo play. If you're a solo player who doesn't want to talk to anybody and just do your own solo thing, you better be into mining and refining and crafting in order for you to, like, I guess you can do salvaging a little bit, but, like, you need to do industrial gameplay in order to be good at anything else. I love that they left the test on because people are having fun. It's good. It's a good system. Let me put it this way. Yeah, Red Monsters Org and Imperial Arms are going to be some of the more sought after groups simply because their mantra, their goals are basically mine and build. I love mining, but I like staying out for hours at a time, and I can't do that with any mining ships in the game right now. You can, but you need groups of people. So you'd need to be able to swap out bags with somebody who could go do process your ore while you're mining. So it just requires group gameplay.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No computers.
But you can never
No, not the highest quality ones,
take
Ashton.
away my space game.
Dry Khan just resubscribed for 51 months.
Thank you so much, Dracon, for that 51 months of support. You're very important, Papa, very impressed, Mr. Very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. I think it's the first time I've heard Salty Mike say I had fun playing the game. With regards to crafting tech review, Mike has said he's enjoyed the game in the past, but this is the sort of thing that Mike likes. What's my favorite part of the 4.6? The Aurora update. I fucking love the Aurora. One of my favorite ships. And its update's done a lot to it. It's made it made it a lot better. I'm looking forward to the 2.0 version. I sometimes think I just sub to watch Paul dance. Of course you do. Everyone wants to see this handsome man dance for you. Why else would you? Just look at... This is the face that launches 1,000 ships. All right? Has Salty Mike ever been on the captain's table? Yes, many times.
Sacrilege just gifted 5 subs.
Thank you so much for giving those 5 subs there, Sacrilege. You're very important, Papa. Very impressed, Mrs. Very pedestrians. You rock. Shots and cheers to chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. To be fair, Mike has become less salty towards CIG and Star Citizen last year. It might be Croncy's influence. No, just that CIG's actually releasing the game now and actually doing gameplay. I've been saying for years that there are 2 ways that most people look at Star Citizen. There is the way that I look at Star Citizen, which is Star Citizen is a project that I am enjoying following and getting an idea of where things are coming and cracking through a little bit and be like, ooh, what's going in there kind of stuff. Like the people who want to see how the sausage are made. And there's people like Mike who are like, I'm here to Crow One, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astro Cup, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We're going to go in for you. Did you get a chance to test the crafting there, Logan? Because I will say, Imperial Arms is going to be rolling in the fucking money once that comes out. It's like the reverse tramp stamp. I don't even know what you call that.
Them biddies.
Thanks for them biddies there, Dracon. Womb tattoo? Like, not really though. It's just a word. Trying to get the hype train at 3. Well, I got 2 minutes. Art, yes. Thank you for them biddies. Hey, we got the 3. Hype train to 3.
Them biddies.
Them biddies. A belly blurb. I like that. Yeah. That armor looks so fucking stupid. I love it. One of the things that I love about armor like that is that as long as you have like tactical and actually like more practical armor out there, it's fine. But I love the stupid shit. The stupid shit just makes my day. Because the thing is, the reality of the world is there's lots of stupid shit out there. And people wear lots of stupid shit. Even in like the most serious combat situations, people wear dumb shit. Why? Because people are stupid and they have a sense of humor. In other words, you enjoy the journey compared to Mike, who's more about the destination. Makes sense. Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with Mike's perspective on that. Like there's nothing wrong with my perspective on that. But it just means that if you are there for a game, you're going to get a lot more frustrated when CIG does what CIG does best, which is either fuck up the game or delay. So when CIG is actually releasing content, releasing, fixing bugs, improving the gameplay experience, of course, people who are there for the destination are going to enjoy it more. There'll be some people who will never enjoy Star Citizen, who will punch their own face.
Wolfambi just got a sub from DevilDog.Games. DevilDog.Games gifted a tier 1 sub to Wolfambi.
Thank you so much for giving that sub to Wolfambi there, to DevDog. You're very important, Papa, very precipicer, very new pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Some people just want to watch the world be silly. Exactly. Thank you. This is my my pansexual colors tie. I bring it every so often, especially I'll wear it during Pride Month, the entire month. Urban Burger.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pubes.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
Urban Burger just resubscribed for 40 months.
Thanks so much for that 40 months of support there, Urban. You're a very important pumper, very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. You return drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. CIG follows the squirrel. Well, it's just CIG is an office full of artists. So you give a bunch of artists some leeway and say, make something that's Valentine's themed. They're going to come up with some goofy shit. Like, straight up, that armor looks like it fucking fell out of magical girl anime. And that's great. We need more like absolutely ridiculous over the top shit.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even
we gotta show it to you. It's in the video. We'll show it to y'all.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
I'm not gonna wear it myself, but I love the fact that it exists.
Mambalation just resubscribed for 7 months. Please read to me.
I will soon. Thank you, Manipulation. Thank you for that 7 months of support. You're a very important pupper, very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. I usually say, like, oh, yeah, this is going to be an short office hours. This is going to be a short office hours because I need to sleep. Keeping that hype train going, though.
I am token 23 just gifted 5 subs.
Thank you for giving those 5 subs there. I am token. You're very important, pupper, very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. If CIG is not doing Sailor Moon style transformation gifts with that fucking armor, they do not deserve to do meme posts like Skeletor. Today is dance day. Let's see if I can pull it up. Pull up the
The local inhabitants of Levski are falling sick.
do. Is it after that? Here it is. Okay, here. So this is the armor. I'll show you all the armor off real quickly. Wait, Skeletor memes? Yes, Skeletor memes. Here, let me pull up Skeletor memes.
There should be memes here, unless we couldn't think of any. There's also offerings from everyone's favorite band who...
Skeletor memes. And this is the armor I'm talking about.
Players. There's our annual Cormor event that encourages folks to spend their lives in the verse with someone special, and it arrives with a host of goodies to acquire.
I love the pulsating heart. CIG, give me a skirt for this armor, you fucking cowards. You need a fucking skirt. Do it. Do it, you won't. Yes, a mini skirt. Like I said, classic sort of like Sailor Moon, what is the fuck called? Magical girl shit. This is just like straight out of one of those. What is that? I think it's heavy armor.
There's our annual Cormor event that encourages folks to spend their lives in the verse with someone special, and it arrives with a host.
I love that there's lover is tattooed right on the stomach, like right on the lower stomach. It's perfect. There's even a heart tattooed on the thigh. That's great. That's medium armor. Okay. Over the past few years, I felt CIG was going down the same route of Dune Awakening, and with how bad that game fell off, I think they took a hard look at their game and changed a few things. Why is that? Yeah, the heart pulses.
Opportunities to existing players. There's our annual Cormor event that encourages folks to spend their lives in the verse with someone special, and it arrives with a host of goodies to acquire. Red Festival returns.
Looks puffy. Looks pretty solid, actually.
Them biddies.
Thank you for that biddy. Them biddies. You're trying to get it to level 5. You got 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We got a level 5. Thank you, Devil Dog Games. Folks have been trying to push it to get as high as possible, so.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away
Oh,
my
I know what we
space
need
lasers.
next year. We need
But you
one
can
that's
never,
just a teddy bear.
Ever.
It's just you're wearing a teddy bear. Wow, that would probably not go over well. I think it'd be funny, but it would not go over well. Kind of like the bear helmets is a thing.
DevilDog.game has subscribed.
Valentine's Day is pretty close. The armor is fitting. It's going to be released with Coromore, which is the Valentine's Day event. So thank you so much for that subscription there, Devil Dog Games. You're very important, Papa, very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. There was drinking at Shasta. Cheers and chat, y'all. Shasta, cheers. Yeah, you would just try to make the helmet a little bit more cutesy and plushy. Basically, I'd probably take the base of the Zeus suit and use that as the basis for what you're going to do with that to make it look kind of fluffy, big. It's very Valentine's Day, right? Less FNAF, more Care Bear? Yeah. I think of like giant mascot. I also think we should have some sort of like sincerely badass like Saint Valentine like armor as well. Like some straight up like it's got some pink accents here and there for the Valentine's Day theme, but it's just like it's just just cool as shit. Give it racing stripes and shit, like just something that's like peak. Just tell CIG's artists, produce peak awesome. Something that's trying way too hard to be manly. Something that's climbing out of a fucking fantasy novel. Yeah, after I said it, I was like, wait, that's going to be bad. My thought was just like, you know, teddy bears, like Valentine's Day. If they can date Bones Armor, why not? It feels like they hard shifted to filling out the world and not having mostly empty play area where players will stumble into each other for more come hither style. You're talking about Star Citizen? Oh, yes, golden abs. There's plenty of fucking 40K nerds in CIG. Just give me Dante. Hold on, I'll show Dante so chat can get it. So we get some pictures of Dante. Dante in his armor. The model isn't bad, but Here you go. Like the abs, like a badass Cupid. Like modernized Roman armor? Yeah, I guess kind of. This is Warhammer, literally. My point is like, just inspire that. RE silly bullshit armor. I started wearing the helmet with the glowing devil horn so my friends can recognize me. Oh, the Oni helmet? Yeah, that was great. I wear the butcher helmet for similar reasons. Do not trust those farts, knowledge. Do not trust those farts. Do you think UEE would make Ultramarines if they had the ability? Yes, 100%. Better example, Brother Centones. Let's see who that is. Oh. We talking about the sexy one? This is the one that I remember. I think this is fake, but it's based off of the text to speech. It's the dreadnought, right? The Fabio one, yes. It's absolutely fake, but it needs to be canon. What do you think Hyperion is all about? What do you mean Hyperion? I appreciate the thigh action of both of those. Exactly. Is there going to be an SCL tomorrow? No, no SCL. One of the things that's quite honest is like CIG really, really doesn't. They try to run away from sexualization, which in my opinion just doesn't work a lot because like people are going to do it anyways. As long as you're classy about it and try to like do it in a way that makes sense, that isn't just sort of overtly crass, I think it'll be fine. Like, CIG is so scared to even put dresses into the game. Like, come on. I think part of that is also Starcloth isn't in the game yet, so they haven't really been able to. Because the thing is I know enough CIG developers to know that they probably wouldn't give a fuck. They'd be like, you can wear all of these clothes as man or a woman, a man or a woman. Why? Because fuck it, we don't give a shit. Go for it. In the male or female like body, we don't give a shit. Okay, fact token. You say fact people. I'm right here. I've got a name. I did it to piss off John Crew. I think kilts would be fucking awesome. Give us some like Roman style skirts and some kilts. Yeah, those would fucking go hard. Yeah, I paid my money. Well, I paid other people's money and my money to get those made. Okay. Chat, if this is your first time here, I'm not apologizing. This is something that I actually have to get done at some point anyways. But the long story short, I thought it would be funny to turn Star Citizen ships into anime style waifus and similar to like Girls Frontline or what's the fucking other one that's with like ships? Azure Lane or something like that. The gacha style games, which are done with like, you know, collect your waifu shit. I did this as a joke because I thought it would be interesting and fun to do. And I was like paying artists because artists are awesome. And there's just not enough independent Star Citizen art out there. So I was like, I'll pay people to do this. Ooh. So I created what I called, because, you know, it's me. So I gotta do like a full like lore thing into it. So effectively, this is an in-game, an in-fiction mobile game you play on your Mobi-Glass. It is an in-fiction version of those games. Was the inspiration behind it. And it was the lore behind it was basically that Misk hired a bunch of, or hired Sakura Sun to do a promo for them for IAE. And what they did was they created like real life or realistic like 3D avatars that would answer questions about every of the ship. But they were supposed to be named after they were supposed to be modeled after the ships that they were presenting. And the next year, Drake said, "This is a great idea," and stole it. And in the whole background, there's people who thought that this was actually AI because it was so lifelike and responsive. So like, did Misk break the AI like, rules about making AI? And then Drake did it because they're like, fuck it, we'll steal it anyways. And that caused IAE to completely ban the use of these things for like entirely. But in the process, there was enough interest that Sakura Sun made their own mobile game based off of those to kind of catch that in there. So here you go. This is the title, Quantum Stellar. Why? I don't know. I just thought it was stupid enough. We're gonna have to go backwards a little bit. Okay, there we go. Starting with the Aurora. These were the ones that I asked an artist in the community to do initially. This is another artist who's a friend of another person who I was able to contact, who did these. So I had the ships basically. One of them was an artist who was a Star Citizen fan. The other one was an artist who was sort of Star Citizen adjacent. And so I paid them to do like, hey, this is the ship. These are some details. But I gave them fucking free reign. I said, just do what you think is cool and that would match the personality of these. People really like this. People really like Cutlass. Well, see, the reason why the artist chose this was because it was a police ship. So she was like, I want to get something that's like sexy police officer. Yeah, I paid for this shit to get done, by the way. Gladius. This is another one of the first ones that was done. Hornet. This was done as a thank you. The artist did these during Thanksgiving. They did this as sort of a side project, which was nice. It was pretty cool. Did we get a hold of these pictures? I posted them at one point on Instagram. I don't know if they still exist there under Quantum Stellar. The Valkyrie. some of the stuff. This is another kind of freebie that she did for Scorpius. Mercury. Mustang. Reclaimer. Like Cutlass ruined my life, to be honest. She doesn't have hips. With Saber. Perseus. I think it's the last one I have. Yeah. So I got a handful of these. Or Scorpius, not Perseus. I have to get in contact with these artists again and see if I can't bring them back into it. Good night, boss. Good night, Orion. We need more of these. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get back in contact with the artists and see if we can't do a deal where we can make t-shirts or merchandise with them, so that we can sell it and maybe do it for like charity and stuff like that. At least it's the waifu rant and not the Endeavor cult ramblings. I mean, I am the high priest of the Endeavor cult of the Endeavor, but that's completely different. I will tie this back into a conversation in general, but I think those sorts of things would go really well with you could put like pinups and stuff like that onto your ships. People would do that. Instead, you could just come up with their own pinups for fun, you know? There's another artist who's really good, who's a Chinese artist, who's like a professional artist, who did one for the Ares, I believe. Oh, I can't find it anymore. Ha! Someone posted my images on scamcitizen.com. That's great. I typed in Star Citizen Ares Ship Girl, and it popped up. One of them was the Hornet. Let's see if I could try. I found it. Kevin Liu. This is the Perseus or the Polaris? I think it's the Perseus. Very Adullane. This is Polaris. I think they also did... I guess they just did that. Perseus. Here's the Perseus. The other one was this one, which is actually posted on This Week in Star Citizen. It was pretty cool. So yeah. I was not the first one to do this. There were people before me who did it. I just did it because I joked about it, about hiring an artist to do it. And in response, John Crew said, please don't. And I was like, John, I was just joking. But now that it pisses you off, I'm gonna have to do it, man. Like now I have to do it. What? It would be disrespectful for me to not do it after John said, please don't. It's funny. Most of the ship girls are a lot more in line with that sort of style than the ones I made. It's fine. Much more ajourné, which makes sense. Tell your friends at CIG to get working on making these into posters. CIG could do it themselves, and they could do it a lot better than us. John Crew knows the drill. He wouldn't have said anything if he didn't want to see it himself. I know what I'll try to do. I will try to seek out those same artists who did the Polaris and the Perseus. And I'll try to message them and be like, hey, do you want to do the Best in Show next year? I'll pay you. I'll pay you some money for you to do the Best in Show, and we'll put it on a t-shirt and send it to the devs at the ship team. I'd rather see pin-up girls of the ships. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. I really want Hermes to be a generalist ship. My dream ship is everything in the Clipper, but enough cargo space to do small-sized hauling missions. I don't know. I think you're over hoping. I think you're putting too much emphasis on the Hermes. I don't think the Hermes is going to be a generalist ship. I think it's just going to be a cargo ship that maybe does data running. Basically, an RSI version of the Spirit. I'm gonna get some water, and then we're gonna do the read. Effectively a MSR, but it has the Spirit like interior sort of like design, because like the Hermes is definitely gonna have that Spirit style. Like you bring in a like a 32 SU container, you throw it off to the sides, you have a singular lane through the middle. At Hermes, that's disappointing. Don't put too much emphasis on something. To be fair, none of us know anything. The CIG hasn't released anything other than the fact that we know it's a derivative of the Apollo. Were you surprised they ended up trying it again the next day for the TP? Yeah, that they tried to do the test preview. Yeah, 100%. I was expecting, because they said we have no idea of when this is going to happen, and they did it the next day. I was like, okay. Do you think Shipamon is a salvage mole? Yes, it's a salvage mole. It's an Argo salvage ship. It's the orange salvage ship that fucking Execute has been banging on about not being Argo, but being Crusader. That's fucking Argo. You can see the engines. It's an Argo ship. If the doctor said the next hot fart you have, you'll die, but if Polly and only Polly collects it, we can develop an antidote. Would you do it for me? Sure, I would. I don't want you to die. Why don't I want you to die? Problem. Poor Executes CNOU theory. I thought it had some merit, but like, it's Argo. I knew it was Argo. Yeah, it's a medium salver. It has pods coming off the front, just like the mole. It's probably enclosed rather than freeform. It's probably just it's like an upgrade to the mole. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with this orange salvager, and then when they come out with the orange salvager, they also add like enclosed cockpits for the mole, so that it matches that of the orange salvager. Am I going to die in this ice storm? I sure as hell hope not. But I will say this right now, chat. It is going to get very fucking cold where I am, and really bad, and my area is not designed, it's not built around the idea of handling ice. So I will be stuck inside for the majority. I'm hoping that power holds out, because if power holds out, because ice storms are unpredictable, they can knock down power lines and that kind of stuff. Luckily, most of my power lines are underground, so it's just a matter of, does that shatter them or whatever. You know Ted Cruz went to California, don't you? Yes, but it was only him. If Ted Cruz left for California with his family, it would be a much more dire situation. If he remembered to bring the dog, I would be fucking fleeing the state right now. Don't plan until half Waffle House closes. A negative 47 degrees C here. Yeah, no, I get you. But like, it's going to get to negative 9 degrees Celsius here in Texas. Negative 9. That doesn't fucking happen here. I now hate Pokemon. Love you, X. Sorry. Oh wow, disagreeing with X. He usually pushes obviously incorrect assessments. I play with what he says. Sometimes I push back if I'm not exactly the same, but I'm not going to push back on somebody's opinion if they want to express their opinion. Sounds warm. Again, Log, you're in an area that's built for negative degrees Celsius. Our area is built for 120 degrees Fahrenheit, for like 45 degrees Celsius. Now, to be fair, negative 9 is the coldest we're going to get. But the entirety from Saturday through the rest of the week, we go from below freezing in the evening to barely above freezing in the day, and then back to below freezing in the evening. Like, our highs are like 4 degrees Celsius. So like high 30s, low 40s Fahrenheit. And the lows are in the like 30s and 20s. regardless of human tolerance. It's not that it's human tolerance. It's that there's like, if you live in a place like Wisconsin or Minnesota, I'm sure you are used to the temperatures up there, but also your buildings are used to being built. They're built to handle those things. You have salt trucks and snow plows. You have infrastructure that can deal with that sort of temperatures and those sorts of conditions. We don't. We just don't. Well, it depends on where in North Carolina you live, their knowledge. If you live in the mountains, they do, but not closer to the sea. I don't know how people live in Siberia where it's so cold the physics stops working. From what I remember about that is the people who live in those cities tend to just leave their cars on all winter. So instead of turning your car off and turning it back on, when it gets cold, they turn their cars on and they never stop it running because it's easier to keep it running and then just fill it up with gas as you go than it is to turn it off and try to turn it back on again. They also do plug-in block warmers too. Most places in Texas are heated with heat pumps and not low temp heat pumps. They just don't work really well in cold weather. Yeah. Your brother doesn't live too far from me, I think. Okay. Well, hopefully he's okay. Because we've already basically, when everyone heard that Ted Cruz fled the state, everyone panic bought everything. It's not going to be as bad as it was during Snowmageddon. I was here during Snowmageddon, when that happened. We were fine here, so we'll probably be fine. We've got a decent power company, so the issue is going to be more how they prepare the roads, because it's just going to be icy pretty much from Friday, from tomorrow night till like probably midweek. It's just going to be icy because it's going to rain off and on throughout that weekend, and so it's just a matter of like gets warm enough so it's not freezing so that the moisture evaporates. So even if it gets down to like -4, there's just not enough moisture in the air to put ice everywhere. So I'm in Michigan. I don't even want to hear it. Again, Lysergic. This is not a competition about who gets colder. It's more about my area is not prepared for cold. So we do not have the infrastructure, nor do we have the tools to deal with it as much. I used to live in Knoxville, Tennessee, where it would get icy and snowy pretty regularly in the winter. Back then, my wife and I had snow gear. We had boots that could handle snow. We knew we only had to survive like maybe a day or so before like snow plows and ice trucks or salt trucks would come by and salt the roads. We knew how to drive in the snow, where to drive in the snow, because we've been doing it for long enough. But nobody fucking here knows how to fucking drive, let alone drive in the snow. So you're gonna have people fucking spinning out and trying to kill each other on the roads. Ted Cruz barometer. We have a warning system. It's if Ted Cruz is seen at an airport, it's like a tornado alert system. It's a watch. If we see Ted Cruz on a plane, it's a warning. And if we see Ted Cruz on vacation, then it's an alert. Like a tornado. It's like a tornado has touched down. We can actively track that. In Tucson, Arizona, the high was only 73. I mean, today's high was 71 here, and in 2 days, the high is going to be 40. Is it similar to the Pentagon Pizza Index? Yes. Yeah, good luck finding snow tires in Texas, or even chains. Yeah, here in Ireland, we get people from Poland, etc., commenting how unpleasant the cold feels here because it's 90 degrees humidity all winter. Fuck. Yeah. When I lived in Knoxville, that was the problem, is that it wasn't just the cold, it was that it's high humidity. So it's like 90 degrees or 90% humidity, and it's like 38 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's like basically like 1 degrees, 2 degrees Celsius. It's awful. I've never been so cold. I've been into like the Rockies, I've been in the Appalachians, further in the Appalachians, but I've never been as cold as I've been in fucking Knoxville. Just because it's like, it feels like your bones are cold because of how the humidity works. What cruise level is it? Lux, Dark, etc.? It's the rarest. It's not the rarest of the cruise right now. It's dark. We're at cruise dark right now. Cruise dark alert. So it was brought up, but I also want to bring it up because I am going to be streaming tomorrow and Saturday. Saturday may be delayed. We may have problems on Saturday. I hope to do it, but like that, we'll know more on Saturday morning. It feels like your marrow is freezing. Yeah. Weather permitting. So I am still planning on streaming throughout this weekend, especially if you're trapped in the winter weather as well. Come and hang out. But short office hours. It's only been an hour and a half. I'm gonna get some water and then we'll do the reading. We'll get it done. This is interesting to hear. Power going up, possibly. It's not intended. It's not anticipated. But when you have people using their heaters more frequently, which probably are going to put some strain on it, plus ice is going to definitely damage the power grids. Luckily, where I am, most of the power grid is underground, so it's just a matter of if that will damage, if the hard freeze will damage them. I don't think it will, but yeah, like last time the Snowmageddon happened, which was much worse than this. We were fine. We had off and on power throughout the day, so it wasn't too bad. Plus, we also have solar panels, so it's a little better. You pull your generator into the garage in southern Arkansas? Yeah. This is interesting to hear. This is the polar opposite of here. No pun intended. Apparently, Jim Control passed through town today. I am not in a good place. I can imagine. You're near the Indiana border? Yeah. Pretty much if you are in the United States or like generally in North America right now, between tomorrow and next week, it's gonna be fucking cold. Just fuck you cold, no matter where you are. Because like, I know it's like, oh fuck, what is it? Minnesota is effectively a block of ice for this next week. It's just going to be a fucking blizzard. And then all of the southeast is just going to get cold. Snow to cold. An ice storm once nearly shut down Toronto, which is Canada. I can see why Texas is not built for weather like that. Yeah. It's going to be negative 20 degrees Celsius here on Saturday morning. Yeah. Basically, stay warm. If you're in North America, stay warm because it's going to be fuck you cold this week. Mother Nature is punching you in the face. And if you're not used to the cold, if you've never really had to deal with the cold, the one thing I will tell you right now is it will kick your ass faster than you realize. You will get tired faster. You will get colder faster. Do not get wet in the cold because it will kill you. Unlike heat, which is a slowly fucking drains you down and makes you drowsy and delirious and eventually kills you, like cold will kill you very quickly. So if power goes out, don't open the doors. Try to keep your heat in. Try to always keep air circulating around your sinks, especially around the pipes, because so like if you have like pipes that are hidden, like sink pipes that are hidden through like a cabinet, open your cabinets up, let the air circulate, turn your faucets on to drip to make sure that the water is at least flowing through as you're going through. And as you'll notice, as it gets colder, the drip will start to slow down more, so you have to kind of add a little bit more. So keeping that water flowing will keep it from freezing over so it doesn't explode. Multiple thin layers works, yes. Socks, never underestimate the power of nice warm socks. I'm from Montreal, working in the airport outside. This weekend was there was a weekend 2 years ago that hit negative 47 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Oof. I used to teach when I was a Boy Scout. I used to teach wilderness survival to scouts in summer camp. And there's an entire section, at least when I was teaching it, which was on winter survival. And I actually used to go winter camping a lot when I was a scout because I was lucky enough to live in California. So we were a short trip away from Mount Shasta, where we go up to Shasta and do like snow camping and such. So we did like snow caves and all that kind of thing, snow shelters and all that kind of thing. And the general thing I can say is you want to stay as dry as possible. You want to make sure you're as warm as possible. And you want to make sure you are you're keeping the heat in as much as possible. It's not a matter of do not, for the love of fucking God, do not turn on a goddamn gas stove and turn on the heat. That is bad. That is an awful idea. That will kill you. If you're cold, do not turn on your gas stove and light it. That is bad. Did you meet the lizard men? Oh yeah, we used to hang out all the time. Turn on the gas to displace the cold air. Yeah. Also, might I suggest a good book? Like my wife's book, Panic Eyes by Camilla Shelley. You can find it on Amazon. You can get it one day to your house and you can read it while everything's nice and cold and you can stay inside and enjoy it. Go buy my wife's book. She's a good author. I'm illiterate, sorry. Didn't you offer to do fan art of my actual of my book when it's finished, Anansi? Yes, they don't require any power whatsoever. You can also get it in an ebook format, though. Yeah, I always love that conspiracy theory. Being a aficionado of conspiracy theories, I always love the Mount Shasta conspiracy theory because it's like I used to fucking go there all the time as a scout, and I don't mean just like to the slopes. I mean like hike through that bitch, like snowshoe through it, kind of thing. Oh, you offered to do voice one of my commercials for me. Okay. Sorry. Which Manchester conspiracy? The one that Lemuria, I think is what it is. Where there's an ancient civilization that lives in Mount Shasta, where the aliens are. But you're right, there is multiple ones. I think the most famous one is Lemuria, though. I'm not getting on that one. Knowledge is here. Knowledge can back me up on that one. I also realize, before we get into this, I realize why I'm one of the few people on the planet that was like, Stranger Things is all right. It's fine. The last season was okay. A lot of people are like, it's so bad and awful. And I'm like, what is this? Do we watch the same thing? And I think it's because I knew since like season 2 that it's just Montauk. It's just the Montauk conspiracy. That was the original name of the pitch of the show, was Montauk. For those of you in New York, yes, Montauk, New York. Fantastic conspiracy theory. If you ever want to feel like you're getting a contact high just from listening to people talk about something, the Montauk conspiracy theory is your mother of all conspiracy theories. So, like, I loved all the little nods. I could, as somebody who has dived down that rabbit hole, there's a lot of nods to the actual conspiracy theory of Montauk in season 5. There's a lot of that sort of stuff. It's shuffled in there with like the like 80s nostalgia stuff, but and season 5 took me. I realized in season 5 they had the Rainbow Room, and because I think they called it the Rainbow Room in season 5, and I was just like, oh fuck, I forgot there is a Rainbow Room in Montauk. I enjoyed it for what it was. But then again, like I said, it is, for those of you who don't know, it is legitimately based off of an actual conspiracy theory and was originally pitched as a show talking about the conspiracy theory. The original name of Stranger Things was just Montauk. Tried Stranger Things. It's not interesting enough to keep watching beyond 2 or 3 episodes. Stranger Things is totally mid. It was fine. Cam and I watched the first couple of seasons and enjoyed it, and then by season 5, we were just kind of like, well, we're gonna watch it because we've already watched most of it, so we'll just finish it off. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'll probably enjoy the 80s nostalgia and the nods to Montauk, but on my own pace without people pestering me. Yeah. Like I said, you kind of have to like old Steven Spielberg movies, and then you also have to kind of like really hardcore conspiracies. The writing was inconsistent and logical inconsistencies too high. Also, they refused to kill their darlings. Yeah. I'm not saying it was a fantastic, amazing series. I thought it was a fun, campy series, a nod to 80s nostalgia. With some nice nods to Montauk. Like I said, I am one of the only people, I think, who actually enjoyed the last season. Would I say it was the best thing in television? No, but I enjoyed it. The Montauk Chronicles film, ironically, won the Philip K. Dick Film Festival for Best Documentary. Neat. I've seen that movie, documentary. That's a good one. They even they name dropped Montauk at the end of season 5 too of Stranger Things. All right, let's do this. You gotta turn the music off, otherwise everyone complains the music is too loud. All right. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Hi there. Welcome back. Or just welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Paul, Berserker1, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender at the Astropub, and this is another Office Hours capsule. That's right.
Weapons free, y'all.
A small segment of my Office Hours live stream that I do on twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropub live, usually on Mondays now at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Would love to have you join us live and join chat here as we talk about random things. We talk a lot about Star Citizen, then we talk about some other things that just kind of go off the rambles. If you enjoy science fiction, but you also enjoy lore, news, and more of Star Citizen, come join us. All right, it's time for the last monthly report of 2025, which is ironically the first monthly report of 2026. For those of you who haven't watched this is the... I don't do summaries of this. I read the whole thing from beginning to end. So I will be interjecting with some clarifications if you haven't read this before. Often they'll reference things they've been doing last month or in previous months so that you can get a little... I'll interject and say, hell yeah, they've been working on this or that, just so you can get a little bit of understanding of what's going on. And I'll also jump in to talk a little bit about some of the context of what these things might mean based off of what they say and based off of what they've said in the past. So with that, let's get started. All right. Welcome to the first monthly report of 2026. As usual, we're starting off by looking back at the first 2 months of the outgoing year, including which teams across CIG finalized features and progressed with content for Alpha 4.5, 4.6, and beyond. We'll be back before you know it with January's report giving you a glimpse into how Star Citizen devs began 2026. AI content. AI content closed out the year working towards Alpha 4.5 release. With the addition of Nyx, the team revised the social behaviors in Levski to ensure they're utilizing all the usable items in usables available to them. They also implemented new Nyx-specific voice packs representing a new approach to ambient dynamic conversations. While the initial sets were designed to be used anywhere, the team is developing targeted voice packs so that conversations provide unique narrative experiences depending on the location. AI content also worked alongside missions team to support the setup of new missions reps and story-based content for upcoming releases. I will say right now that this has been a godsend. The stuff that they've added for Nyx and Levski is so good. I can't wait for them to add more stuff for Pyro and Stanton because it is so flavorful and it adds so much more depth to the universe. Since they've added more AI conversations going on, yeah, you're gonna hear the same voices. You know, it's sort of you're gonna have to deal with that in general. You deal with it with other video games as well. But it's sort of nice to hear different context of what's going on, while also hearing some of the more generic stuff as well. AI tech and features. Through November and December, AI tech and features worked on the Valacar, improving its ability to utilize submerged positions while avoiding hills. They also unrotted the chase target behavior and removed the movement hearing filter concept. Removed the movement hearing filter concept. That's interesting. I don't know what that means. Though I do think that the filter concept, the movement hearing filter, was like sort of like they could hear you move. They showed that off in one of the Citizen Cons a long time ago of like, as you move, the AI can pick up on it and move it. Maybe the Valacar had that same behavior so they could actually chase you down in places like Lazarus. So the Valacar can now also attack inanimate objects. Furthermore, new placeholder behaviors were implemented and further developed. For the creature pipeline, known as Star Paws, oh my, are you serious, CIG? Star Paws? At least it's not named Titan or some other name that's used 7,000 times. Work was begun on the AI-triggered actor state. Radio formations were ported from Squadron 42, and the AI skill extender was refactored and renamed AI Motive. The team also added a health lost this phase boss motive condition. Okay. Updates were then made to the anti-personnel turret, with the devs fixing an issue that caused the guns to fire above the target's head. Numerous missing hints were added to subsumption activity tasks, while general bug fixing was done across the board, including to navigational links and traversal behaviors. I don't know if the anti-personnel turrets have worked in-game. Interesting. AI planetary navigation improvements were made to allow easier changes to physics terrain patch resolution. Although currently only available in the Valacar, this update is planned released in Alpha 4.6 patch. AI game intelligence development. In November and December, the Game Intelligence Development, GID team, mostly worked towards the next milestone for Mission System version 2. This involved prototype validation before MVP fine-tuning. The next step was to integrate the UX script before building the prototype infrastructure. The Mission System dashboard prototype also received a visual update. In addition, the team worked on reactive expression prototype, specifically the design and visual interface with icons for each category. This will be the base template for other tools that enable the designers to easily create triggerable expressions. GID also supported the integration of Tiny Machine into the StarScript UX, which will allow for tools to use the same visual language. As usual, bugs were fixed and StarScript features were developed as suggested by the game designers. So this is just sort of them building the back-end tools for the AI in the game. So they've been talking about Mission System version 2 for a while. The GID has been working on that system for about 4 or 5 months now. It's been around for a while. It's been since the summer that they started talking about it. Animation. November saw facial animation back on set for their final performance capture shoot of the year alongside the narrative team. They captured content for the 2 new characters alongside 2 new voice packs that will populate the NPCs found in the Nyx system. Offset, they completed animation tasks for ArcCorp's Elatino, who players will be able to see during comms calls. Is this the woman who we did the work for in ArcCorp? I think so. Maybe not, but going to December, the team began processing the content captured in November, starting with with one of the new named characters who will be seen in an upcoming release. On the gameplay side, the animators worked towards finalizing Spec Ops AI combat set as 2 other human sets. On the gameplay side, the animators worked towards finalizing the Spec Ops AI combat set, as well as two other human sets. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Spec Ops. So I guess we're going to have to face down, like, super elite AI? Progress is also made on melee and mechanized enemy types. Did I just walk into that? Melee and mechanized. Are they finally going to give us enemies inside Icties? I said it very early on, this is the year of the Titan suit. I'm still here. Titan suit, baby. Titan suit. Elatana was the mission giver for AC during resource drop. I was right. I loved her. She's the best mission giver. She had the best attitude whatsoever compared to all of the other mission givers. She was great. She was a true blue corporate backstabber. Gotta love her. Melee enemies, but I have a gun, so bullet sponges. Freaking boo. No, so there has been melee enemies in development for Squadron for a while now. There's entire mission sets or entire melee assets that were created for specific gangs that you would experience in Squadron. So Melee has been on the roadmap for a while to be added into Star Citizen, and I don't think you're looking at bullet sponges. I think you're looking at ambush attackers. So you turn around the corner and they pop out of the corner and hit you with a bat or something. Or they charge at you so that you have to take care of them because they're getting closer, while their friend who's a sniper can stand back and shoot you. So you think of it in more as like kind of enemy variation rather than just bullet sponges. So you'll have to make a threat assessment, and that threat assessment is going to put you in a bad situation. That's generally the way they do it. Yeah, Vanduul loved Melee too. So yeah. Progress also made on melee and mechanized enemy types, player swimming and navigation. Ooh, player swimming. New weapon animations and creature improvements for the Copian type enemy. So four-legged dog-like creatures. Development continued with the backend for the background life AI 2. Okay. Art that's interesting because this is animation, so it means we're going to get more background AI animations, I think is what that means. Art characters. The character art team closed out the year by finalizing event rewards and promotion items while progressing with new gangs for 2026. The concept art team began exploring new ideas for armors and finalized handoff sheets for subscriber flare items. All right, this is what you're really here for. Let's be honest. The ships. I probably put something on the cover that's the ships. All right, November to December were extremely busy months, with ship teams completing the Perseus, Clipper, Golem Ox, MDC, L-22 Alpha Wolf, and Salvation for IAE, alongside supporting the push for the first release of engineering. Quote, a big shout out to virtually the whole vehicle content design and QA teams who undertook the Herculean efforts of multiple sweeps across the entire fleet of vehicles to validate and make changes to support fire, dynamic room atmosphere, resource network, and engineering features, as well as the artists who helped spot fix the most egregious errors. Ships team. In the UK, progress was also made on numerous vehicles coming later this year, including the Gatak Raylan, which entered production in mid-November, with the initial artist build-up on pre-production work done during the white box phase. All right, so based off of that, it's not coming this year, guys. Raylan's not coming in this year. The earliest it would be is probably next 2027. So I hate to poo-poo on your parades, but it's coming in 2027. Not coming this year. If it entered production mid-November, that means 12 months would be IAE. Maybe. Or end of the year, next year. And most of these ships take 18 months once they enter production. So, and it's a big ship. So unless it gets fast-tracked or something like that, and I doubt it would, it's probably more like Invictus next year or Alien Week next year. I bet you it will be out at Alien Week. Alien Week 2027, maybe, not 2026. Gold standard work on the Aegis Hammerhead continued. Areas were refined across the ship, as well as breaking out various parts into an Aegis kit for use across future ships, such as ships as per MISC, RSI, and Drake. So they're updating the Hammerhead, and then whatever the assets they're updating, they're adding it to an Aegis kit. Training pedestrian, this your father's turn drinking. Welcome everybody. I'm gonna have to cut that out in recording, but I'm already recording this anyway. So let me remember to turn off these things real quick, so I don't have to do that in the future. How about that graphic? It's going to be good. People are saying, all right. So yes, Aegis is likely going to be getting a kit so they can do more Aegis ships in the future about that size, the larger size Aegis ships, which is interesting. And so people are saying that they said the letter says Raylan is coming later this year. We're talking about the letter from the chairman, because that would be very surprising, given it just entering production. And to give you context, 12 to 18 months isn't just for capitals, it's for all ships. That's one of the things that I learned from talking with Execute, who talked with John Crew and the ship team there. And basically what they said was that no matter what, it takes them about 18 months to create from concept to creation to create a ship. Now, sometimes they pause and then they work on other things. So sometimes work gets paused and they come back to it. Sometimes they finish it and they put it on a shelf and wait for other things to come in. But typically it's about 18 months no matter what. Doesn't matter the size. It will take 18 months. My guess is more people get put onto capital ships. So smaller ships get less work, but they also require less work, or less people that require less work. Larger ships require more people. But they so they require a little bit more work, but generally speaking, it's 18 months. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying CIG is lying. I'm saying I don't trust CIG on that time that says the Raylan's coming out in June. I would not expect it in June. Like I said, the earliest I would expect it is probably the end of this year if it was very fast. But it's probably more likely in 2027. All right. The Miss Cole B passed its white box review and moved into gray box, while the Drake Ironclad Assault, and Command module progressed towards their gray box reviews. So yeah, Miss Cole B entering gray box means it's got the Lot 0, where it's review gate to Lot 0. Then it's got final art. And that's about 3 to 4 months probably. So the B is probably... It's probably coming out. It's coming out this year. It's probably coming out closer to Invictus, maybe a little after, a little bit before. And the Ironclad is almost certainly going to be an Invictus ship. It's a little bit faster. It's in the Greyback review, so it's going into its Lot 0 phase, probably in January. If it passes, which it sounds like it probably did, then based off other things, then it'll probably end up in Lot 0 by now, and that's almost certainly a Invictus point. So yeah. Towards Gray Box reviews. In December, the Ironclad Assault received particular focus after the base ship resolved a lot of its required core setup. The first playable review gate of the command module's functionality was completed in mid-December. The Greycat UTV also continued through development, including updates to the dashboard after discussions with UI on how to best integrate the required screens, as well as the motion capture session to add a new enter-exit animation. Now, it's not clear, but the UTV may be the same thing as the PTV. The PTV may be becoming the UTV, but we don't know. Last we heard, the UTV was a completely separate thing, but it also looked an awful lot like the PTV. So we'll see what happens. Third in the series of larger RSI ships, the Galaxy entered pre-production. Get this, the end of last year. We know the Galaxy's coming out in Invictus, or at IAE this year. So it's got, that's really fast. That is definitely fast. If they're planning on having that release at IAE this year, and it entered pre-production last IAE, then you're looking at, yeah, straight up 12 months turnaround minimum, because it's going into pre-production to full release. I don't think it'll be this year either, but based on this report, but I also don't believe that the 18 months timeline is a one-size-fits-all thing. I didn't say it was a one-size-fits-all thing. It's just a good guess. It's a good way to judge ships. Is to generally assume that everything's going to take about 18 months. If it's faster, that's better. But 18 months is the good sort of target for that. Unless, of course, you have the situation where they said the Galaxy's coming out in IAE next year, and they just said it was coming out in pre-production. I'm like, damn, they're going fast with that one. That's true. They do have a ton of RSI kits to work with, so they already have a bunch of stuff already done. 4 currently unannounced vehicles progressed through the pipeline too. The ship closest to release passed both its white box and gray box reviews, with only a few minor technical details needing further iteration. The second is progressing quickly due to the availability of its existing brand kit. RSI. The third passed white box following a hugely successful concept stage. And the fourth, from a manufacturer that's not been worked on for a while, Origin. And, well, that would be a new ship rather than the G12. Origin is the only one that hasn't been worked on in a while, I believe. Kruger's been worked on. Argo's been worked on. Solid Outline's been worked on, because it's been under the Pioneer. Origin's the only one that hasn't really been touched. Now, CNOU, they've been working on the Pioneer. So the Pioneer has been off and on for a long time. So Origin's the only one that makes sense. Enter production after its initial concept phase resolved issues with its interior components. Banu, possibly. That has also not been touched. Same with the Tavaran. Oh no, the Tavaran got the UTV, the Ute. The Prowler Ute was recent, so. Tumbrel, yeah, Tumbrel hasn't gotten one yet, really. I mean, the last one was the Storm, and we all saw how the raging success that was. The North American teams continued to work on the Kraken. Not biased. Drake's capital ship continued to the white box with the goal of now set for its white box review in February. The team made changes to the interior to aid navigation throughout, as well as simplifying methods for moving vehicles and cargo, especially with the latter traversing through the ship. A lot of work has been done to ensure changes have no impact on the privateer variant when that goes into production in the future. The team also held a walkthrough meeting to show the ship ahead of the formal gate review, preparing the downstream teams for the sheer scope required of work required. Hell yeah. Two unannounced vehicles also were worked on. The first ended in 2025 with the review gate preparation for its early 2026 release, while the second moved through white box with the team focusing on its unique hero rooms. For vehicles having rooms? All right, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that first one is probably the Titan suit, the Zeus system, the Zeus suit, if you will, which is even more confusing. The Virgil LTT Zeus, which is the, I'm not going to show it to you. It's the combat version of the ICTY. It's the ICTY is sort of like a civilian version of it, a civilianized or militarized civilian version of it. This is the actual one that's designed for combat. I still stand on my belief that that is 100% coming out this year. It's a done asset from Squadron. It just needs to be moved over to Star Citizen. If Squadron's coming out this year, it's gonna be in there. They've already done stuff similar with like the F8 and the F7 Mark II. I think it's time. I think it's this year. I believe, chat. I believe. All right. Big ship says page. Community. The community team supported November preparing players for the Nyx system with the Traveler's Guide to the Galaxy. Following the release of a published catch-all post to support the patch. To celebrate the system's arrival, they launched Star Citizen's first ever Twitch Drops campaign, which was highly successful. They also partnered with CLX Gaming to give away a custom PC, which was built during a live stream alongside its twin, together forming a panoramic tribute to Nyx, with half inspired by Levski and the other by the Van Duel. Ooh, I like that. It's very cool. Stronger together, Levski. Stuff, nice. The Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, or as Execute from the Info Runners likes to call it, IEA, AIE. He calls it AIE. 2955 also arrived in November. The team delivered extensive event support, including a save the date announcement, IAE 2955 FAQ, and the manufacturer and free fly schedule. When the event began, they launched the IAE Showtime contest and the IAE referral bonus comlink, which brought back the Dragonfly Star Kitten for the first time since 2017. Following ship reveals through the IAE, the team prepared Q&A posts for all 6 new vessels: the RSI Perseus, Salvation, Drake Clipper, Golem Ox, Kruger Alpha Wolf, Greycat MDC. They also updated the salvage and repair guide to reflect the latest gameplay updates announced at the IAE Best in Show prizes. December brought Alpha 45 Dawn of Engineering, introducing engineering gameplay to the Perseus universe to help players to the Persistent universe to help players prepare for this major evolution in ship management. The team published a detailed engineering gameplay guide alongside catch-all post supporting the patch release. And the team also embraced the tradition of Luminalia 2955, spreading holiday cheer with a catch-all post, the 13 Days of Luminalia calendar of daily gifts, and the return of beloved Luminalia greeting card contest. Hey, I don't know. I do like that. That framing is perfect. It's great. I do like that costume too. Star Citizen World Tour 2025 made its final stop in Prague, Czech Republic on November 8th. The team had a great time meeting passionate community members in person and reconnecting with the spirit that makes these gatherings special. Looking ahead in 2026, they published a post inviting the community to suggest cities and regions for next year's tour, ensuring the tradition of bringing citizens together continues worldwide. Throughout both months, the team supported a range of evergreen tasks, including This Week in Star Citizen, bi-weekly roadmap updates, and roundups, monthly reports, Arena Commander schedule re-updates, and continued updates to the new player guide and welcome back pilot pages to reflect the latest in-game content and events. They also continued coordinating feedback across multiple development teams, ensuring community voices were heard. From the arrival of Nyx to the introduction of engineering gameplay, this year brought some truly significant milestones. Your feedback and engagement have been essential every step of the way. Thank you for helping us build the verse together. Here's to 2026. Community team. All right. Woo. Core gameplay. This is going to be a long one. Strap in. I'm going to take a drink before we get to this. During November, December, the core gameplay team supported multiple releases, progressed towards the release of a variety of features, and supported the remaining development team across multiple initiatives. For Alpha 4.4, the team collaborated on the release of the Boom Tube rocket launcher and fixed various weapon-related issues. As part of the ongoing initiative to significantly improve weapon handling, a variety of changes were made to tighten up weapon feels, such as ADS control, and expose more controls to the designers. Engineering gameplay went through multiple tech preview publishes and was ultimately released in the first iteration in Alpha 4.5. This included an extensive list of changes based on internal and external feedback. For example, MFDs will now enter an emergency state instead of turning off when out of power. The devs updated relay behavior to no longer break the resource network when fuses are destroyed, but instead limit the effectiveness of connected items. The automatic reassignment of power pips is now optional via the game options, so that by default, players have to first unassign power to reassign it. Ship light states were also tweaked for better audio and visual feedback during emergencies. The first version of the ship armor and life support was also implemented, providing multi-crew gameplay with additional dynamism and depth. Alongside player experience, core gameplay identified critical feedback that was either addressed in time for Alpha 4.5 release or has been added to future iteration of engineering. Quote, "We're thankful for the feedback provided by the community. Getting engineering release was no small feat, and seeing players really push the system to its limits has exposed areas of the feature that needed more refinement. We're looking forward to improving the feature over the next few releases." Core gameplay team. Throughout November and December, the team progressed its next major feature, crafting, to tech preview readiness, which enabled a limited round of Evocati testing conducted yesterday. The initial preview included the core loop of creating various items and adjusting their stats based on material quality. Additional recent work on the feature includes shop support for material quality and the availability to sell partially full or mixed containers. Progress was also made on the main crafting UI, including the queue screen, selecting the delivery destination for crafted items, refunding materials, and functionality to dismantle previously crafted items. At this stage, the core functionality is present. The devs are preparing to review player feedback before polishing the feature ahead of its eventual release. Which I don't think is too far along the ways. I wouldn't be surprised if crafting hits our hands for good in the late spring, early summer. For flight gameplay, the team continued their efforts towards the improved flight model, including various adjustments to control surfaces. This also included exposing more options to design to allow for more control over atmospheric flight behaviors. The team also continued their task for the command module, used by the Drake Caterpillar and Ironclad. The first playable version of the feature was presented, showcasing seamless handover of controls from the host ship to the command module, and vice versa. This work also allowed them to address varying docking-related issues and improved debugging tools. Towards the end of the year, time was dedicated to addressing issues with the existing transit and freight elevator system. Someone in chat asked earlier about the transit system. Here we go. Which were either reported by players using the Global Issue Council, the player experience team, or internal QA staff as major issues affecting various gameplay loops. Working with the QA team, core gameplay addressed bugs that were very high reproductions or issues that had tendency to manifest permanently. However, there are still many issues present that continue to be addressed. Okay, so they're working on it. For the mission system, the designers now have the ability to specify conditional mission completions. For instance, Alpha 4.6 includes missions that can be completed by fulfilling one objective or an alternative objective. The team also investigated some of the root issues behind the drop-off lockers that caused courier missions to be disabled. They also provided support for various new missions and content deliverables, such as improvements to the progress tracker used for various events. Work continued on the inventory rework with internal reviews and bug hunting sessions. Early steps were also established on capital ship refueling, leading to a task breakdown and scheduling. Finally, core gameplay delivered a feature-complete version of, quote, cockpit light amplification, or LAMP. I'm just saying LAMP, this is what they call it, which enables players to better see their surroundings in low light conditions, as we've all seen with 4.6. Whew, that was a big one. There's a lot of stuff there. Most of it is just the command module, crafting, inventory, engineering, and the flight experience. So it's all the things that we expect in some way, shape, or form to be touched on over the course of this year. Economy. Based on community feedback, the economy team overhauled Wickelow's rewards. Most recipes now require fewer of each ingredient. Some items were redistributed into the loot pool, and the Idris and Wolf were added as rewards over the holiday period. The commodity price boost generated a wide range of feedback, with the strongest responses tied to the increase of profitability of previously undervalued free trade resources. These insights were already being factored into future balance adjustments. Contested zones also received a few new vehicles as possible drops. The team spent time in December on the Nix social station that will populate the system with safe trading zones and economic incentives. Oh, neat. So we're going to get some stations around Nix. I hope it's not too many. Because, like, that's the problem with pyros. There's too many. It becomes too easy. The devs also are looking to vehicle ballistic weapons to give them the proper caliber designations and operational costs associated with their size and type. Ooh, interesting. So we're going to actually get, like, weapon caliber for each weapon rather than just size. Mission design ended their year focusing on quality of life fixes for Alpha 4-5, alongside bringing the derelict space station missions back to Stanton. The derelict space station missions, what are those? I don't remember those. Huh. Someone in chat can tell me. If you know in the comments, tell me down below what that is. Maybe Gundo, maybe that's what they're talking about, but this is like missions. So like multiple missions. Gundo had one mission. Work then continued on content plan for 2026. Narrative. The end of the year was a busy time for the narrative team as they worked towards momentous release of Star Citizen's third star system, Nyx. A complex undertaking, the team wrote dozens of new missions, helped bring a new Shattered Blade outlaw faction to life, and oversaw the return of a classic character, Stelevsky. Additionally, the team supported a new content shown at IAE and the introduction of system-to-system hauling missions. In December, the team focused on setting themselves up for success in the new year with a PTU launch of Alpha 4-6. The team also wrote several NPC scripts in support of upcoming gameplay mechanisms and missions. 2956 is going to be an exciting year in the Empire narrative team. It's going to be an exciting year if you actually give us a PAL versus UEE plotline that actually pays off. I will rescind any nasty thing I've ever said about the narrative team if they manage to do that. Online technology. Last month, the online services team shared an internal tech demo demonstrating what will be coming of item recovery T1. Oh, this is the year CIG is going to make so many people mad. Between crafting and item recovery, some people are just going to lose their minds. You're going to lose your ability to backspace when T1 comes in. So no more backspacing free trade stuff, free travel stuff. Woo! With this, they were able to establish the priority needs of downstream teams. Work also continued on instancing, with the instance manager working as the cornerstone to validate the feature's inner workings. The Live Tools team successfully launched the new error reporting pipeline. Development of the web app tool continued, with the team expanding its scope beyond the initial crash ownership rules functionality. The tool will now incorporate additional capabilities to automate ticket assignment workflows, replacing existing manual and difficult-to-maintain processes for routing tickets to users. The audit logs feature for Hex is now live in production too, providing enhanced tracking and monitoring capabilities for the team. Woo! The fact that they're working on T1 item recovery. So for those of you who don't know, T1 item recovery is a big one because it'll actually... the way you get your stuff back is you don't request it back. It's like insurance. You're going to have insurance for it. And I believe the way they're going to do it is they're going to give you a blueprint for any item you have that's physical. So any like item you get in your hangar that you pay money for, you'll get a blueprint for. And so you'll have to rebuild your item from scratch. But part of item recovery T1 is that when you die, you lose everything. And it's kind of like what we have now, only nobody can loot anything off your body, I believe. Or I think they can, but there might be some other issues. The looting thing is a little funky, but I know for sure it's you don't get your stuff back. You don't regen with all of your stuff. You regen naked. You lost everything. And if anything if you had insurance on it, you could get it back by crafting it. Scrap FPS insurance and destroys crafting. That's a different conversation to have, but yeah. Just don't get used to backspacing, y'all. get used to having to call for help. R&D. In November, R&D's team's PU focus remained on optimization. Texture streaming support was added for volumetric cloud and ground fog, including support for streaming 3D volume textures. Various optimizations were done to allow the inlining of C++ lambdas and to prevent allocations in situations where they must be captured as functions. This, among other things, improves the runtime of IFCS thruster updates, subsumption mission updates, and item resource generation and consumption. Read access to voxel trees can now be made concurrently, which helps the CPU gas cloud reads for radiation volumes, atmospheric flight data, door hazard state updates, and more. Also, lowercase CRC32 computations were optimized significantly. Threading-related OS call overheads were removed when updating vehicle parts and when checking for active impacts in damaged maps. Overheads in evaluating AI tactical queries were fixed, while the refactor of gas cloud light updates to remove the need for temporary memory allocations and significantly optimize CPU processing cost was brought to the PU. So for those of you who are wondering, yes, CIG is still doing optimizations for the game. I don't know if they're going to drop the RAM cost, but that should be one of the things that I would have done at this point, where CIG's R&D should be focusing on that, just because, RAM these days. And just a good idea in general. Makes it more accessible. In December, more code was optimized for both projects, Squad War 2 and Star Citizen, because remember, it's the same backend. Among other things, context capture for immediately executed lambdas in various systems was improved to avoid unnecessary allocations. Priority and deferred action queries were cleaned up and optimized to allow directly placing past lambdas and to avoid unnecessary temporary copies. Entity classes are now also stored more complicitly in the registry and allow for more efficient lookups. AI local variables no longer cause excessive allocations and locking cost. Time slicing of monitored zone updates, mission updates, is now handled more efficiently. Finding the closest shadow rain node is now executed more efficiently, and the work is also underway to speed up projected decal rendering, saving interpolators. I think R&D is going to be my new, I do not speak Greek. I do not speak the machine. I do not understand the machine spirit. My old saying when it comes to was to like the technical stuff. R&D seems to be the new one for that. It's a lot of stuff that I kind of understand, but I'm sure people who are used to touching code like this probably know a little bit better. So, anywho, that is November-December 2025 monthly report. It's a lot. Most of what we got is just the quick and dirty is 4.5, 4.4, 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6. All were heavily being worked on by the end of the year. Crafting, a new item system, the new flight systems. Engineering is still getting updates. The command module stuff is in. Lots of optimizations. Tons of ships are coming in there. So just the mentions of ships are Raylan is still being worked on. The Hammerhead is getting its gold pass. The Hull B, the Ironclad Assault, the Greycat UTV, the Galaxy, plus 6 new unnamed ships. It's important to remember when they say unnamed or unannounced ships, those are ships which haven't been announced. So it's not some secret reference to that favorite ship that you have that's not being made. No, it's not the Banner Merchantman. No, it's not the Ranger. No, it's not the G12. If they're saying unannounced, it means it hasn't been announced at all or sold at all. So they have 6 new ships they're working on that are either variations or like a brand new chassis for us to enjoy. These are all sort of concept ships, basically. Plus 2 new, 4 ships and 2 vehicles. Let's see. AI got a bunch of stuff done. Animation had an interesting thing about new melee and mechanized NPC animations. New, like, kind of pulled all of the creature animations into one set now. Same with AI features. So there's like the star pause thing. There's some updates to the Valacar, just some general stuff to AI, plus a bunch of the background NPCs are getting updated as well. So yeah, big months at the end of the year. Of course, it's always 2 months, so it's always big. I don't expect January to be very, very busy, but as always, I want to hear your thoughts down below on anything I've said, anything I've talked about. If you can speak the machine code, if you understands the mechanicals of the machine god, then please do tell me a little bit about what was saying in R&D. And again, if you enjoy this, I read these live on twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropub live, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Would love to have you join us live and talk about it with like these folks. And like thank you for watching. And like I always say, hope to see you someday. The Black. That doesn't seem right. What would be the point of insurance registering the items then? Because some items you can get back naturally. So like essential. So like if you own the item, you get a blueprint for it. But if you don't own the item, so if you purchased it in game, you can get it back, but it is a timer. So there's a timer for the things. It's basically insurance. But they said that everything you have on you, like your personal items that you purchased in game, you will have a blueprint for. Not in game, but purchased with actual cash, you'll have a blueprint for. Not ships, but items. So like armor, weapons. So you'll be able to craft those again. Getting blueprint for your store-bought items is an awesome idea. It means you remake it as you can get higher quality materials to make it better than stock. That is one of the reasons why I've been saying for a bit that I do not see CIG allowing us to upgrade our ships that we purchase with actual cash. Because I don't think the system as it currently stands allows you to take a ship that you purchase with cash and then do stuff to it beyond just sort of the simple modifications. Like you can't physically transform it without paying, for the CCUs and stuff like that. So I think what they'll do is the same thing they're doing with items, because all physical items you're going to get a blueprint for. So if they're going to do that, then they'll do the same thing with ships. So you will get, if you buy a Cutlass Black, you will get a Cutlass Black blueprint in the verse that you can then use to craft higher tier cutlasses along the way. So you'll have to craft a brand new cutlass from scratch, but you can also use higher grade materials to get make better ones. And you can do research to improve the tier of the cutlass from tier 1 to tier 2 and tier 3. You can always poke me if you have questions about specific code related stuff if you want. I work as a lead software engineer, so I might be able to explain some stuff now and again. If you have any questions, we'll do. Mostly it was the R&D stuff, which is again, a lot of it seems like it's graphics based. So like texture streaming, lambdas I know is like changes, right? Talking about CPU rendering, so it's like, how the CPU handles all this information a little bit better. But then when it gets down to like, where was that? Read access to voxel trees can now be made concurrently, which helps with CPU gas cloud reads for radiation volumes, atmospheric flight data, door hazards updates, and more. Also, lowercase CRC32 computations were optimized significantly. Threading related OS call overheads were removed when updating vehicle parts and when checking active impacts in damaged maps. I kind of get that. I know what read access is, and I know what voxels are. I don't know what CRC32 is, and it said lowercase CRC32. I get the threading related OS stuff. It's just more of a, these are all words I understand independently, but I don't know what the fuck they mean stuck together. I'm pretty sure he said, Rich said you get the items back during his presentation. I would be surprised if you do. I'm not saying you're wrong. It could be the case. CRC32 is a cyclic redundancy checking. It's a way to do error checking that can be fairly computational heavy. Okay. Higher grade materials than Drake stock. So not bubblegum and paper mache. Yes. The early talk was you get items back, but then they changed it when they rolled out the document on item recovery. The item recovery, because like item recovery 2, the difference between item recovery 2 and 3 had more to do with looting than it had the items. Because like item recovery 3 was basically where you can loot items, but they can also be hit with a dead man switch. So it's basically a race against time to get it. And I think even if you got hit with the dead man switch, you can like revitalize it. You can like rebuild it from scratch. My guess is that's again with the crafting. I think it's just more of a tier 3 versus version 2 and version 3's difference is more, or between 1 and 2, I should say. The difference is really the looting aspect of things, not the actual item recovery part. So from the sound of the problem they ran into was performance bottleneck. Having it run concurrently basically means allowing each CPU thread to perform an action instead of one at a time. So if you have 12 core CPU, you can now process 12 of those actions at the same time instead of in sequence. So basically just allowed hyperthreading. Just neat. Current crafting always allows only items you can make to be deconstructed, but the design doc said that any item may be able to be pulled apart. I don't think so, Cyber. That's the thing, is I don't think they can. Because that's one of the problems currently with Wicklow, is that because the items you purchase with actual cash is in a separate database, I think it's impossible for you to pull those apart. I think unless they have some sort of technology they develop so that ships you purchase and items you purchase with actual cash are able to be modified by the game, which is dangerous. I think that could lead to some weird issues. I think they're just going to do the simple method, which is you get this item, it's tier 1, but you also get a blueprint so you can make this item at any time, and you can upgrade it using this item and upgrading the blueprints. So you're always stuck with tier 1, because we always knew it was gonna be tier 1 anyway. It's like the lowest basic thing, and you have access to it, but if you wanted to improve it, you're gonna have to build it as a tier 2 from scratch. Question: how do you think the blueprints will handle situations like the Saber versus Saber Comet? Will the same blueprint plus a ship skin? I think so, yeah. I think the Saber Comet will come with the ship skin, and it'll also come with the weapons. So you'll probably have the additional weapons blueprints with it as well. Because they said you'll be able to craft skins with crafting as well. It really comes down to how CIG's inventory system works. And the way they explained it, the inventory system that is related to your cache is in a completely separate system from the game system, and they do not fucking talk to each other. Ever. The only time they talk is if they're modified, and if they're modified, they're like weapons, they're getting modified with things added to them rather than being changed entirely. Again, you look at Wicklow. Don't try to upgrade an ICD or an ATLS to an ICD if you with a paid ATLS, with a cache ATLS, because it doesn't understand that. This part, overheads in the evaluating AI tactical queries were fixed, while the refactor of gas cloud lights were to remove the need for temporary memory allocations and significantly optimize CPU processing cost was brought to the PU. This is them talking about removing the need to constantly cache lighting volumetrics per cycle frame render, which would also probably help with RAM requirements, at least on that one part as a byproduct. Okay. From what I've gathered, R&D since the beginning of last year has solely been working on optimizing. Their sole thing has been, we're optimizing the fuck out of this game. We're doing absolutely everything we can to optimize the ever-living shit out of this thing. Because it's not just for Star Citizen, but for Squadron. So it's basically, they're going to be doing 2 full years of just polish with that. So would you not be able to buy with cash a Mustang, for example, but you can't upgrade it into it's a tier 2 or above at all? No, I think you'll be able to buy a Mustang, but you won't be able to upgrade it. Instead, they will give you a blueprint so you can build a Mustang from scratch. So you'll have the blueprint right away, whereas other people won't, and then you'll be able to use that blueprint to upgrade, to build a ship to tier 2 or beyond, from tier 1 to start also, or upgrade that blueprint to tier 2, or use new items to upgrade that in total. So your ships that you purchase with cash are a stand-in for the ship itself. Because again, I don't know if CIG systems are built so that the system that is holding the ships and equipment can talk with the rest of the game inventory. As far as I can tell, they can't. They may build a system for them to communicate, because they're building a new inventory system as it is. And the new inventory system is based off of the system that is used for the paid version of stuff, for the paid stuff. But I am not holding my breath on that. I think CIG takes the fastest minimum viable product solution, which is just give everyone a fucking blueprint. Because that's the solution. That's the simple solution to the problem. Yeah, it's a TLDR. A lot of what I've seen lately seems that they've been overusing temp cache to help speed up unoptimized calls to their backend or simulation physics. So now they are allowing it to persist longer, so you only have to rerun that computation as needed instead of every cycle. That may also explain why I heard that the game would like to rip itself a fucking apart. Like Squadron 2 used like to spaghettify itself after like a couple of hours of gameplay. That's probably related to that too. Quick and dirty, CIG's got a fucking time crunch. They got like 2 years until they have to pay their investors a combined total of around $200 million. And they don't have $200 million. So they have to find ways of making that money, and the best way of doing it is simply releasing a game. I'm not going to go into that detail, y'all, if that freaks you out. CIG had 12 years to make a game. Yep, and now they actually have a time crunch because they also have investors who will be likely pulling out their investment in 2027 or 2028. Yeah, it would also explain why their backend tends to burn the longer the service is up. temp cache is not being cleared properly, so you get compounding issues until it crashes out. Which is why I think they've been talking a lot about how their servers have been lasting longer and longer and longer as they've been updating stuff. So someone's gonna simply release the game, Paul. Hopefully CIG knows what they're doing. Hopefully. From a database point of view, they would only need to put the appropriate tags on everything. However, how that affects their inventory system for hangar-owned items, time will tell. The other issue is, think about it this way, Cyber. There's also a legal element. What happens if you take your ATLS and upgrade it to tier 3, or have a blueprint that allows you to take your ATLS and turn it into a Geo ICTY, and you do that? Do you still get back your ATLS because you paid for an ATLS? I think it's a legal question of like, do you still have access to the thing you paid for, even though, or is it okay for you to upgrade it and then hold on to it? I think that's where it gets into the other questions of like, beyond just, is it physically possible? I'm sure it is physically possible, but it's more of the time constraints, how much time it's going to take to do it. Is it worth the squeeze? And legally, is it going to cause complications? Now, they've dug themselves into the hole of this selling spaceship garbage. They wouldn't exist without selling spaceships. They're in a catch-22. There is no way they earn the amount of money they have now without selling spaceships. They wouldn't be as successful as they are now without selling spaceships. So they have to sell spaceships. But at the same time, selling spaceships means they're always going to be chasing the dragon's tail and getting the spaceships up there. Item insurance will always return the base item as attached to your account. As long as the insurance returns the item, I think we'll be okay. But that doesn't answer the question about like upgrades to the item. Like, what happens if you upgraded your ICTY to another item, to another version of the ICTY through upgrades, through, say, blueprints, and then the player's like, I want my original ATLS back, but they still want to keep the new upgraded version. Like, they wouldn't be able to if they kept the new upgraded version. Then legally, can they still get it back as it originally was? I'm just spitballing like possible problems when it comes to the legality of selling something like that. Well, the base item would still exist in game, so the insurance wouldn't kick it until it was lost or destroyed. Yeah, but what if they wanted it back? They paid for the original one, but they also still want to keep their advanced one. Don't they need to either make in-game spaceships cost way more if they're going to charge this much IRL cash for spaceships? Or buying ships IRL money is the top tier of them or something? The cost benefit seems to be off for them to make money off of it. Basically, as far as it works, ships are probably going to go up in price, but ships are going to be worthless. Buying a ship now gives you access to that ship now, but that is never going to be the advanced version. You'll need to actually upgrade that ship down the line to a better tier, and the only way to do that is through crafting. So it's likely that in-game ships, when you purchase them with like in-game cash, are still going to be hot garbage. They're still not going to be very good compared to the crafted ships. So they can keep the ship's cost to be where they are now, because they will just basically be your starter ships, your starter versions of those hulls. And then you'll use that to advance into further ones once you get the blueprints for those ships. The answer should be no, they modified the item. But the question, but essential, that's the question. That should be the answer, but is it the answer that the EU has or Australia has? Like, that's another question. And CIG seems to be skittish around legal issues as well. There seems to be a lot of like questions, a lot of hand wringing around. Well, legally we said this or did this, so we have to do this. So I can see that also playing into it. My point being, I think CIG is going to do the most basic thing based off of my observations. I think they're going to do the basic thing where you cannot upgrade the ship that you purchased with cash, but you will get a free blueprint that you can use to build the ship from scratch. So if you want to upgrade it, you can, but you have to build it from scratch in the first place. In my mind, if legally it's not possible, the easy workaround is to give a blueprint for every bought item in your hangar. I think they're doing that anyways. I remember them saying that that's the plan. Like, that was their working plan, which just anything you fucking purchase with cash, you get the fucking blueprint for. Everything. You just get it. Because it's just easier to do that. I can't see how they would cross any legal barriers if they give you back the ship you bought originally. Yeah, but it's like you bought the ship you got originally, but they also want to keep the upgraded version of that ship as well. Because they purchased the original version with cash, but then they earn the upgrades in game, but they want to get the original back and keep the upgrades. How much would it cost me to have you set your thermostat to 82 for 4 hours in your home? Depends on the day. Saturday, free. It's going to be probably that high anyways. Nope, too bad, so sad. No, I get it. Like, logically, it's like, well, yeah, fuck you. You did it already. Fuck you. But I'm thinking, this doesn't matter if it's logically. Does that comply with certain legal standards or certain places? Which is why I'm thinking, all right, the easiest answer is just give people the fucking blueprint. So you keep your fucking ship, and then you can upgrade your ship, you can build a new ship and get all those upgrades, and you keep your ship no matter what. Oh, that original ship blows up, you get it back. Why? Because it's the original ship. You get it with cash. You always get it back. Like, at release, what can I spend my IRL money on if I'm rich in game, sort of thing? If they give you the blueprint, doesn't it mean you could have dozens of ships? Yeah, it means you could just constantly build them if you had the blueprint. You do as many as you want. They also sell upgrade packs for cash for ships if you want to keep the upgraded model. But Tethan, so what you're asking is like, what can you spend if you already have in-game cash? Let me walk you down the primrose path. Let me explain to you how likely the ship balance is going to work in Star Citizen. No matter what, the ships you purchase with cash, doesn't matter any of the things we're talking about right now, they are the lowest quality you can get. Even with LTI, you're simply getting lifetime insurance on something that is the base value of all of them. Lowest tier items, lowest tier hull, everything is the lowest tier. So if you want a ship that is better, you can go purchase it in-game with in-game credits, but the best way to get the better versions of ships isn't to go buy a Cutlass Black at Teach's, it's to go get a Cutlass Black blueprint and make a Cutlass Black from scratch that has higher tier items in it or higher tier hull. Those higher tiers will have quirks, things that'll change how that specific ship reacts, and those items will have specific benefits like faster regen for shields or higher power output for power plants. So if you purchased every ship in the game before the day one the game releases 1.0, you are still at the bottom floor with everybody else until you can craft the higher tier ships. So no matter what, it's probably only going to be people who are new to the game or who are trying to do more solo or PvE experiences who will actually go out and buy a Cutlass Black from an Aurora. Because most people will try to find a Cutlass Black that's been upgraded. The problem is the only way you're going to get the higher tier upgraded versions is through other players. So you'll have to talk with other players and trade for those items or pay for them. I totally agree with what you're saying. I just mean the business needs to make money. So what's the whale bait really? You can still purchase skins. You can purchase ships when they first come out. So like when new ships come out, you can get access to them right away before anybody else does. And you're also hitting on the main problem, which is right now CIG's method is selling ships, and that doesn't fucking work 1.0. They need other revenue sources, and they seem to be testing that out with things like ship or monthly packages. So you have different versions, different armors and version with different skins and different skins themselves with different weapons and that kind of stuff. Personally, I think the direction is microtransactions, like true microtransactions. Like, I think customization, it's actually better for money to have customization be effectively the hex tool that we talked about before, like a hex code color tool, which is you buy a ship skin, it comes with specific colors and a pattern, and then you can fill in those patterns with specific colors. And you can purchase colors on the website or you can purchase colors in game, but there are, you can buy them for small amounts of money on the website. It makes it faster for people to be able to customize stuff. I agree, Shadowstalker. Packs would be so much better if they sold them individually as well. There are so many packs I would have purchased if it was if they split them off into individual things, like this armor package, and this ship package. Because like very rarely did I see a ship that I owned that had a skin that I liked that also had an armor that I was willing to grab. I would love that, but that one art guy hates that. I know, 89. And the problem I have consistently is that CIG does not seem to think in terms of universally, holistically, what the game's going to be after 1.0. And as Jared has said, and as many of them said, they have the same conversations we're having. So hopefully they're having this conversation as well. Because the reality is, if they need something that is beyond just selling ships, they need to have in place that system many years before it goes live. They should be working on that system now to release it this year as a means to supplement/replace ships so that they can work out the bugs and get out the details, because this is the sort of thing that's going to take several cycles to figure out if it works or not and how to make it work. You don't want to have all of your entire bet on one thing right when 1.0 releases and have it flop and be like, oh, well, fuck me, what are we going to do? They could make full customization paint, like you said, only available for IRL money plus bot ships, I guess. They could, but I think just making the skins themselves patterns and colors And there is a solution to it, which is that one art guy can just pick which colors work best on that pattern on that ship, and then restrict the colors that are available for that ship to just whatever the colors that they artificially want. And then the ship will never look ugly, according to them. Limitless auroras, yes. Yeah, that's the actual answer, Dom. If you always get the paint and the armor separate, but if you get the package, it'll be slightly cheaper. Yeah, that's the easy answer, but CIG seems to be resistant to that. They need to do a new system in tandem with ship sales system. Low risk, slow transition to the new system. That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah. And also to test out to see if it works or not. Not every idea is going to work. The idea I just floated could fucking not work at all. No one could give a shit if I say it. I think it would work based off of my interactions with the community and the amount of people who still fucking harp on about the goddamn hex code editor. That was showed off like 6 years ago. But some people like ugly too. No, I'm with you. I'm of the opinion that once you've made fucking art and you put it out in the world, you lose your control over that art. People will make shit, even if you think it's ugly, they'll still make it. And you can't really hold on to that. You kind of have to let it happen. And I know they're like, well, then it's bad for our advertising. It's like, no one gives a shit if it's ugly. But if it looks fucking amazing, it'll do well. Elder Scrolls Online has a system where they sell paint. You get a few colors for free, but you have to pay for some of them. Or earn them by completing missions, raids, and dungeons. It's the same way that MechWarrior Online does it, and I believe Warframe. So many MMOs and online games do that very system. That's where I got the system from in the first place, was MechWarrior Online. That's how they do their skins and paints. Skins are patterns, and paints can be filled into those patterns. I think Destiny did it as well. Yeah. So it's a very common system that can make plenty of money alongside other things. If the plan hasn't changed, what is it? Or should you know what changes? In terms of the sale of ships? Or in terms of like CIG's models? CIG's currency models is going to be the same as it always been. They will sell the game packages that they currently exist. I think they'll pull back from people being able to purchase ships at any time. So like if you're like being able to buy a ship that is not in a package will probably disappear at 1.0. Except for specific times of the year, which is sales. And during those sales, they will do new release ships. So they'll do new release ships, which they sell for cash, which will be time limited to people who purchase them for cash specifically. And then they'll be released to the wild later on, a couple months down the line. Which, again, I still think is a dumb idea. I would like to see skins still be sold, but each skin has a color palette that relates to the colors used in that skin. And then you can use those colors from that palette to paint your ships. Buy more skins, increase your palette decals from those skins and decal palette. Exactly, Cyber. That's what I'm saying. Something like that. Or you can also buy on the website like the, IAE color package, and it's just got a bunch of different colors that you can buy, and then you can put those colors into any of those patterns. The UEE Navy color palette, and it's just a bunch of palette colors that you can then, put in there, like 10, 20 colors that you can use, and they're all different shades of blue and red, People would buy every single fucking color palette so they could get all of the colors for their ships and mix and match as they want to make it work. Then I would buy a Cutlass skin to get the palette for my Aurora. Yeah, that could work too. You could also lock it to just specific ships if you wanted to. Oh, I agree. Ship decals would sell well. Isn't that what they do with War Thunder? War Thunder or World of Tanks? Don't they sell decals that you can put like randomly at anywhere? CIG's a little hesitant about that because of Time to Penis, but it's like, y'all created salvage. Time to Penis is fucking gone. Like, let people be artistic. Systemic is better. Would make best in show easier. I hope they would stop selling any ships other than the ships that have just begun flyable and starter ships. I don't think CIG will sell any ships standalone outside of a package, except for sale moments and new ships that are just coming out. We're not getting rid of ship sales. That ship has sailed. What about custom pilot shares? That'd be an easy one to do. Yeah. Put some money for a brand style pilot share. Rain, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for translating for us. All right, y'all. I'm gonna call it a night too. It's been 3 hours here, and it's past 10. Let the cock and balls fly. Yes. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this, hit that follow button on Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube. We're going to be doing a, hopefully this weekend I'll have some time to actually, I'm almost done with the writing for the update to the beginner's guide to Star Citizen lore. So this is like a complete beginner's guide. So the idea is that it's, it tells you everything you need to know very briefly about everything from like regen to quantum drives, jump drives, to the UEE, to the various alien races, to even all of the planets of all of the various systems, the planets of these systems, some light lore about those systems and planets. It's basically going to be about 20 minutes. It'll be, if you have a new friend who you want to get into Star Citizen, be like, this is the universe primer. This is the bare bones basics you need to know to understand what's going on in the system, in the UEE, in Star Citizen. There's far more than this, but this gets you the context. And then I gotta do some more stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.